What if one small moment in A Night of the Seven Kingdoms quietly rewrote the entire destiny of Game of Thrones? Not a war, not a dragon battle, not a king falling from a throne, but a single dream about a giant knight and a dying dragon.
My dreams are not like yours. Mine come true.
Because hidden inside that strange prophecy from Daeron the Drunken may be one of the most devastating truths in all of A Song of Ice and Fire lore. A prophecy that appears simple, but might actually explain the beginning of the end for the entire House Targaryen. And strangely enough, the man standing at the center of it all isn't a king, it's a humble hedge knight, Ser Duncan the Tall. But before we unravel how this quiet moment could reshape the history of Westeros, a quick spoiler warning. This video contains spoilers for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, its source stories from George R.R. Martin, and major historical events referenced in Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. So if you want to experience the story fresh, consider this your warning, because once you understand what Daeron's dream might really mean, you'll never look at Dunk the same way again. Early in the story, we meet Daeron Targaryen, a prince who many dismiss as nothing more than a drunken embarrassment to the royal family. While other Targaryens chase glory, Daeron spends his days lost in wine and strange ramblings that no one takes seriously. But there's something unsettling about him, because sometimes his dreams come true. Like many members of House Targaryen, Daeron carries the ancient blood of old Valyria, the same blood that once allowed the Targaryens to see fragments of the future through prophetic visions. It's the same mysterious gift that shaped the fate of dragons, kings, and empires throughout Westeros. And one night, Daeron dreams something deeply disturbing. He sees Ser Duncan the Tall standing alone. Then suddenly, a dragon falls from the sky, a dead dragon, and it crashes down on top of Dunk. Yet somehow, the massive knight survives. When people first hear this prophecy, the obvious assumption is simple. Maybe Dunk will one day slay a dragon. Maybe the humble Hedge Knight will somehow face one of the legendary beasts of Westeros. But if there's one rule that fans of George R.R. Martin know by heart, it's this. Prophecies in this world are almost never literal. They are puzzles, metaphors, warnings hidden inside symbols. And when the story reaches the legendary tourney at Ashford Meadow, that prophecy begins to unfold in a way no one expected. At this tournament, Dunk finds himself facing powerful enemies after standing up for a young prince named Aegon Targaryen. The situation spirals out of control. Accusations are made. Honor is challenged. And eventually, the conflict escalates into something rare and brutal. A trial of seven, an ancient form of combat where 7 champions fight on each side to determine the truth.
The Andals believed that if 7 champions fought, the gods being thus honored would be more like to intervene.
This moment becomes one of the most dramatic events in Dunk's life, but more importantly, it becomes the moment Daeron's dream begins to come true. Because when the trial of 7 begins, a surprising figure steps forward to defend Dunk, the honorable and beloved Baelor Targaryen. Baelor isn't just any knight, he's one of the most respected princes in the realm, a warrior admired by both nobles and common folk. A man many believe would have been one of the greatest kings Westeros ever saw. And most importantly, he's a dragon. Not literally, of course, but as a Targaryen prince. Baelor carries the blood and symbol of the dragon itself. During the brutal chaos of the Trial of 7, the battlefield becomes a storm of steel, dust, and desperation. Knights clash, armor shatters, men fall beneath the weight of warhammers and blades. And in the confusion of battle, tragedy strikes. Baelor faces off against his own brother, Maekar Mon Targaryen. Maekar wields a heavy mace, a weapon designed to crush armor and bone alike. During the fight, he strikes Baelor in the head. At first, it seems like nothing more than another blow in the chaos of combat. But when the battle ends and Baelor removes his helmet, the truth becomes horrifyingly clear. The strike shattered his skull, and when the helmet lifts, part of his head comes with it. The beloved prince is dead. A dragon has fallen, and standing nearby unharmed is Ser Duncan the Tall. Suddenly, Daeron's strange dream makes terrifying sense. Dunk didn't kill a dragon, but his actions set in motion the chain of events that caused one to fall. And because Dunk survived while the dragon died, the prophecy was fulfilled. But the deeper you look into this moment, the more unsettling it becomes. Because Baelor's death doesn't just end the life of a great prince, It changes the entire future of the Targaryen dynasty. With Baelor gone, the line of succession shifts, eventually leading to the rise of a young prince we already know well, Aegon Targaryen, the same boy traveling beside Dunk under the nickname Egg. Without Baelor's death, Egg might never have become king.
You shall be king and die in hot fire, and worms shall feed upon your ashes.
And that single shift in history would echo forward for generations, eventually leading to the reign of Aerys II Targaryen, the unstable ruler whose madness triggered the rebellion that destroyed the Targaryen dynasty. In other words, the fall of one dragon at Ashford Meadow may have started a chain reaction that eventually led to the fall of all of them. But the prophecy might go even deeper, because Dunk's story doesn't end at Ashford. Decades later, Dunk rises far beyond the life of a wandering Hedge Knight. He becomes Lord Commander of the Kingsguard under King Aegon V, the same boy he once protected on the road. But their story ends in tragedy at one of the most mysterious disasters in Targaryen history, the catastrophe of tragedy at Summerhall. At Summerhall, Aegon V becomes obsessed with bringing dragons back to the world. Hoping to restore the lost power of his house, he attempts a dangerous ritual involving wildfire. Something goes horribly wrong. The castle erupts in flames. Chaos consumes the halls. And in the middle of the inferno, Dunk performs one final act of heroism. He rushes into the burning castle to save Rhaella Targaryen, a young woman whose unborn child will one day become Rhaegar. Dunk succeeds in saving her, but he never escapes the fire. Inside the burning ruins of Summerhall, both Dunk and King Aegon V die. Another dragon falls, and once again, Dunk stands at the center of the tragedy. Which raises a haunting question. Was Daeron's dream only about Ashford? Or was it about Dunk's entire life? A man destined to survive dragons while unknowingly witnessing their fall. And if that interpretation is true, then Dunk might be one of the most quietly important figures in all of Westerosi history. Not a king, not a dragon rider, but he was a man whose choices repeatedly changed the fate of the Dragon Dynasty. The more you examine it, the more it feels like one of George R.R. Martin's favorite themes. History isn't always shaped by powerful rulers. Sometimes it's shaped by the good intentions of ordinary people, and sometimes by a single knight who simply tried to do the right thing. But here's where things get even more fascinating, because some fans believe Daeron's dream might reach even further into the future, possibly foreshadowing the ultimate collapse of House Targaryen during Robert's Rebellion. When Aerys II Targaryen is overthrown and killed, the Targaryen dynasty falls from power for the first time in nearly 3 centuries. The dragons, metaphorically speaking, are gone, and that entire chain of events can be traced backward through generations of kings. Kings who only ruled because Baelor Breakspear died at Ashford, which means the dragon that fell on Dunk that day might have set in motion the fall of every dragon that followed, a prophecy that began with a dream and ended with the destruction of a dynasty. But that's the strange beauty of stories in this world. Prophecies are never clean, history is never simple, and the smallest moment can ripple forward across centuries. But now I'm curious what you think. Was Daeron's dream only about the death of Baelor Breakspear? Or was it secretly predicting the entire downfall of the Targaryen dynasty? And do you think Ser Duncan the Tall was truly just a knight caught in history? Or something far more important? Let me know your thoughts and theories down in the comments. I genuinely love to read them. And if you enjoy deep dives into hidden lore, theories, and storytelling secrets from worlds like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, and A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Because in stories like these, the biggest secrets are often the ones hiding in plain sight.